And we are going to get going here in just a second. Good morning, everybody. Give everybody a chance to get signed in and make sure everything is going as planned. If you are in the room and you can hear me okay and everything is working okay, just give me a quick heads up in the chat that our technology is working as planned and I'm coming through to your speakers fine. That would be great. Hey, Tim, Global Nomad. Jay Epperson, good morning, good morning. Yep, thank you. Keeping my eye on the chat, making sure everything's working as planned. So if you could just give me a quick heads up. I know we've got a few people in the room. It's just 11:31 a.m. Eastern time right now. We're going to get things going. For those of you that are here, welcome. My name is Daniel, and I'm with VantagePoint AI. And today we're going to spend some time talking about how finding call options and options trading with artificial intelligence can really not only magnify your results, but make it easier to find some of these opportunities before they take off. And let's face it, as a trader, knowing that a stock is expected to take off before it does is extremely valuable, extremely valuable. So, hey, JS, dear daughter, hey, glad you're here. Ed, Johnny, glad you're here. Good morning, good morning. I'm gonna pour myself a quick drink of water while people are getting in the room and make sure that I'm prepared here. All right, Ramon, good morning. Well, the first thing that I like to do to make sure that from an options trading standpoint that I'm thinking about things the right way and I've got things positioned the right way is understand what's going on with the market. So let's do that right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up the software that I like to use, and in this case we're talking about VantagePoint software. And I just want to look at what the overall market, you can do this in any platform you want, anywhere you want. All I want to do is get a sense of the overall market direction. If I'm going to go look for some call options, well then I, in my opinion, need to make sure I'm going along with the market. And if you don't look at the S&P, the NASDAQ and the Dow to get your trading process going, then maybe this is a good idea for you to do. Definitely is. By the way, just in case anybody's wondering, today we're going to be providing education. This is free education. I'm not providing trading advice. I'm not an advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. What we like to do here at VantagePoint is provide insight, knowledge, and experience. I've got about 25 years experience in the financial markets. I've been a trading educator, a host. I've been a mentor. You know, if it comes down to trading, you name it, in some way, shape, or form, our organization at VantagePoint AI has helped a trader do it better. And this is one of those things when we do our live sessions like this. So if you're just joining, welcome. What we're going to be focusing on today is how to use artificial intelligence to find options trades and find some good calls, how to make that easier with AI. So, all right. So like I say, the first place I start is by looking at, for instance, a SPY. Now I've got some indicators on the screen. You could simply, take the indicators off of the screen and just look at the overall information. I can, here, make it easy. There you go. Looking at just the price for the SPY. We can see that prices recently have been up. I'm going to go get my pen really quickly. So let me just do that. There we go. Something to write with. We can see that it was going up. Then it reversed and started going down, and then it started going up. From an overall trend standpoint, it's safe to say by just looking at the candles, I can see that lately the SPY has been bullish. I don't have to overthink it. I don't have to overcomplicate it. Overall, the trend has been bullish, and we're getting higher lows in this trend, right? I can see that. I can see over here that trend is starting to flatten out, right? You can see the open higher than the close. We got some red candles. We can see that both of these candles stopped at the same point. So I can see all in all, the overall trend for the SPY, for the S&P 500, has been higher with a little bit of consolidation happening here at the end. Great. If you use indicators, fantastic. Put your indicators on top of that, right? No matter how you do your analysis, do some analysis on the SPY. I use my indicators and I can see that my predictive indicators in the software are indicating bullishness over the next few days. So my indicators are predictive. They're using AI And what that means is when I layer them on a chart, they're telling me what's expected to happen, not what has happened. I do see what has happened from the candles. Those are candles. But from an indicator standpoint, I like to layer those on. I do have some short-term strength because my predicted neural index, which is also an AI-generated indicator, is saying bullish. And then I've got some higher lows with my 2 and 3 day momentum. My 1 day momentum is indicating lower highs or some bearishness. So that tells me exactly why we're getting that flattening. That flattening was identified for momentum last week, saying, hey, there's some weakness coming from a momentum standpoint. So what the AI has helped me understand is that this is a consolidation due to momentum, which draws me right into the fact that there's probably some resistance or support points that are impacting that. So I can layer on my support and resistance and just go take a look. I have 2 indicators called verified support and resistance in my software I like to use. Maybe you like to draw your lines yourself. You can do all of that. But what I've got here is I've got some resistance all built up right above this price. We can see that resistance is built up there. We can see that prices have slowed down up there, which means that momentum, if prices can't get to that resistance point and they start slowing down here, that means momentum is not as strong as it needs to be to get up there. And that was indicated, let's see, we got lower highs. That was indicated at the beginning of the week last week. So all I'm doing here is just getting a sense of what the SPY is expected to do, and the SPY is expected to be bullish with some short-term consolidation over the next couple of days. So bullish it is. So right now, I can say the market conditions are ripe for some call options, right? Now with the consolidation, there's an opportunity to make some money to the upside from a buying call options standpoint, or maybe you like to do spreads. Either way, we're getting bullishness from the SPY. Okay, let's go check diamonds and see what we see. Again, I can go through the same process, and taking the AI indicators off, I can see all in all, there's some bullishness, there was some bearishness, and now lately there's been bullishness on the diamonds. The current market conditions are telling me more bullish than anything. And then I've got my indicators that I can then layer on top of that to get the predictive AI indicators telling me what I can expect. There we go. Looks almost identical to the SPY. Bullishness, a little tailing off here at the end, some consolidation. That consolidation is due to a lack of momentum on the 1 day momentum. The 2 and the 3 day momentum still have bullishness, which indicates I can still expect some bullishness today. Just not a rally kind of day, which means there's an opportunity to buy some calls here as well, right? I can keep on going with this. If you guys want me to, I can do the Qs. Look, I'll pop in QQQ and show you the same exact breakdown on the Qs. I can take the indicators off because I know not everybody has these. By the way, if you are a VantagePoint family member, and I can't tell from your username on Facebook or on YouTube, but if you are a VantagePoint family member and you're a user of this software already, just go to the chat, if you could, and say family member, or I have the software, or whatever the case is. Let me know in some way, shape, or form in the chat that you already access this artificial intelligence technology. And if you don't, say, not yet, right? Let me know that as well. This way I know what plane to educate on. I don't want to leave anybody in the dust, but at the same time, I don't want to go so slowly that if we've got all users in here that I don't provide information at the pace you want it. So let me know in the chat really quickly. I'll keep my eye on it. Hey, Eric, glad you're part of the family. Fred, awesome. Thank you for being part of the family. Hey, Jay, good. So we've got a lot of family members in here. Barry's got it. Love to hear it. Love to see it. Good. Jerian, thank you. Ramon, awesome. I'm going to pop a couple of hearts in here. I'm looking at the chat, watching some things. I'm going to pop in some celebratory emojis in there because it's great to see family members. Thank you for being part of the VantagePoint family. Hey, Tim, maybe one day, my friend, maybe one day, right? Either way, whether you have these indicators or not, doing a market overview. Mojo, Rob, good. Kevin, thank you for a year or more. Good. Whether you have these indicators or not, what I'm trying to get across here, not necessarily the indicators, the process. Do a market overview. right? I walk through the SPY, whether you do it as an ETF, whether you do it as a index in the futures markets, however you do it. Hey, Eric, yeah, you do. Good, okay. Pavel, Don, good. Kevin, thank you for being part of the VantagePoint family. It's awesome. This process has led me to the conclusion by going through this market overview that I have enough bullishness expected that if I want to go find some call options and scan using artificial intelligence, then I'm all clear to do that. Matter of fact, I've been all clear to do that for quite some time now. A couple weeks at least, there's been a lot of bullishness. Enough bullishness that somebody could say, yeah, there's an opportunity to the upside, and there has been. Now, one vote of not caution, but one asterisk I want to put out is CPI comes out tomorrow. That's about inflation. If you don't watch CPI data and you don't watch when, the economic calendar and when these announcements happen, just understand tomorrow there'll be a data point released on CPI year over year, month over month, things like that. If inflation is pulling back and the Fed believes what they're doing is causing a pullback, and we see that pullback and inflation drops, CPI drops, you're going to see a lot of bullishness in the market, right? You are going to see a lot of bullishness in the market. If CPI, for instance, comes out and inflation is higher, you're going to see a lot of bearishness in the market. What we're seeing from the artificial intelligence is bullishness, okay? All right, good. Good. All right, let's keep on rolling through this. One of the things that I want to point out to everybody is when you're looking for some good opportunities. Hey, Len, hello. Hello from Illinois. Hello from Florida. Glad you're in here. One of the things that I want to point out is that this artificial intelligence, these forecasts are powerful. Very, very powerful. If you're not using them, let me show you an example. Here is GameStop. Now, for a second, let's forget all the hype that happened in GameStop this weekend, just for a second. And the reason I say that is because I am going to actually scroll over and show you GameStop as of the end of the week last week. Here you go. VantagePoint forecasted a move higher in GameStop here. Now, our market overview, let me show you something, how powerful the market overview, that was 426. If I go to the SPY and I go look at when this crossover happened, that was 425. If I go to the diamonds and I see this crossover 423, I go to the Qs and I see this crossover 426. That was the day that this bearish trend was forecasted to start going up. Well, VantagePoint also forecasted that there was bullishness in GameStop. And the reason I want to show you this, yes, these are daily candles, end of day data. The reason I want to show you this is because what happened up to, this is Friday, folks, was not a result of anything going on from hype. That happened on Sunday, Monday. VantagePoint said that there's some incredible bullishness there already. From the start of that crossover, the start of that forecast to the close on Friday is almost 65%, 64.09%. Hypothetical gains there, 500 shares, $3,400. Big, huge move that was forecasted in April. And I'm pointing this out not because I follow the hype and follow the meme stocks, but going into this week, there was major bullishness. The blue line was above, the neural index was green, and we're getting higher lows on all three momentum indicators after this slight pullback, right? So everything was saying bullish, bullish, bullish GameStop going into the market today. And then, let's roll forward. Then there was some post put on Twitter, what's his name? Something Kitty. I know his name, I'm just messing with you guys. But at the end of the day, the fact that Roaring Kitty posted on Twitter and people started thinking, oh, here we go. There was a massive move in GameStop. Now remember, this was already up 65% after VantagePoint indicated it was going to go up. And then boom, yesterday happened. And then boom, today happened. What happened today? The market opened extremely, extremely high. It opened at the high of the day and there's been profit taking since. It's up around $50 a share, which means this move is a dramatic move. It's like 300-point gain. Well, think about that for a second, folks. Did VantagePoint forecast that Roaring Kitty was going to come out of the woodwork? No. Didn't need to, right? Did VantagePoint forecast that there was going to be a meme stock jump in GameStop? No, didn't need to. It used the artificial intelligence to say back on the 26th that this trend was expected to start moving higher before any of that stuff happened. That's the power of AI. It can identify these trends before they happen. And today, we're going to talk about and we're going to search for some options, some call options specifically that could present some very profitable opportunities, right? How's it doing it? Well, let me show you really quickly. For those of you that don't have the VantagePoint software, let me show you this really quickly and then we'll move on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I'm not here to sell the software. I'm here to educate you, but still, look. Here's GameStop. What the AI is doing in VantagePoint is it's figuring out what other stocks, what other markets, what other currencies, gold, euro. There's so many things, international and here domestic, that are influencing the price of GameStop. These are over 31 markets that drive, influence, and impact GameStop. They either push it up, sideways, or down. The AI is figuring this all out, and that's one of our patents. We do have 2 patents on it. Anyway. That's one of the patents that we use, and then it can forecast with accuracy up to 87.4%, okay? And the reason I'm telling you this is because when you see a positive forecast like that in the software, and now I'm talking about using VantagePoint specifically, you put yourself in a very powerful position that other tools and technology aren't going to give you, because that intermarket analysis is patented and the ability to forecast trends is the second patent we hold. All right, so what we're going to do with that AI today, now that we know the markets are up, now that we know that there's still some bullishness expected in the markets, now that we have a very clear picture how valuable that bullishness is expected to be. And I'm not saying raging bullishness. I'm talking about bullishness with a little consolidation, right? Which is great for options trading to get some good premium. You get some lower price premium when volatility is kind of low. There could be some really good opportunities in the options market. So by now you've seen how good the market overview can be. You've seen how powerful the forecast can be. Let's go apply it to some stocks that maybe you're missing out on, like for instance, Boeing. Here, let me show you. I'm going to walk you through on Boeing. I can do it on Netflix. I can do it on Caterpillar. You guys tell me. I'll walk you through how to execute a good options trade using technology and understanding how this artificial intelligence can help you. And I can do it on any one of these stocks. And then we'll walk through and we'll do some scanning, as I said in the write-up, in the details. We'll do some scanning and find some new opportunities. But first, I want people to understand how to use it. You want me to do it on Boeing, Netflix, Caterpillar, anyone, all of them? I'm happy to do it on any of them. I just want to kind of show people how it works. I have software. Which scan do you use? Yeah, we'll walk through that. We could take a look at Don. We could take a look at Apple later. Absolutely. There's not a bullish call option on Apple right now. Out of Boeing, Netflix, and Caterpillar, which one of those, we're on Netflix. Let's do Netflix. Here we go. Right here on 5-2, we can see that the blue line crossed above the black line, right? When you see that happen, this is the artificial intelligence saying that this trend is expected to start moving higher, okay? The first thing that I do is verify that there is strength building in Netflix at the same time. So I look down at my neural index. Bullish. I look down at my neural index, I get bullishness. And then I go check my predictive momentum indicators, and I see if those predictive momentum indicators are pointed up going into this day. For those of you that aren't VantagePoint family members, I know I'm walking through some indicators you probably haven't seen before, but these are predictive indicators that have predictive information in the formula. And when I see these lines pointed up, they're telling me that there is bullishness building over the next 1, 2, and 3 days from a momentum standpoint in Netflix. Okay, good. Now we see it. Now we can use it to our advantage. When we see this, we see there's some bullishness from an options trading standpoint. Just simple buying calls, simple buying puts. I'm thinking about 5 calls on this, buying 5 calls on this and riding this trend up until I hit a target. From an options trading standpoint, your trade plan should define your target, right? Your trade plan should tell you from a target standpoint, what is it that I'm looking to take out of a trend to say it's a winner. Maybe it's 25%, maybe it's 50% on the option. Maybe it's a dollar figure. You decide that. I'm not going to tell you that. But we know on 5-2, there is bullishness in Netflix that we want to take advantage of. Set your expiration out around that 30-day mark. Maybe it's 30 to 45 days. Maybe it's 20 to 30 days. Regardless, I'm not expecting to hold this for 30 days. It's really got to be producing and not have hit my target to hold it for 30 days. What I'm looking to do is beat time decay. I want to take theta and I want to beat theta at its own game. So what I do is I buy more time, but I don't hold to that time. And that gives me the opportunity to maximize a move and not be too impacted by time decay. Because if I'm looking at, setting expiration out 30 days, right? This is 5-2. I could go to I could go to May 17th expiration, but that is a shorter term expiration, and theta or time decay is going to start making my position less valuable very quickly. So I can in that case buy the expiration of June. June expiration, let's take a look at the calendar. June expiration would be June 21st. So I can set a June 21st expiration on this, and if I set a June 21st expiration, 5 calls, set a strike price that's based off of the predicted high and predicted low. And for those of you that don't know what that is, VantagePoint predicts the high and the low of the next trade day every day for every asset available in the software. Well, I need a strike price that's somewhere touching that gray bar. I don't want to buy too far out of the money. It's not touching the gray bar. And if I buy too deep in the money, the premium's a lot more than I want it to be. So I can buy deeper if I want to, but the idea here is somewhere touching that gray bar is an optimal strike price, in my opinion. So let's say we did all that, right? This move happens. I can see there's major bullishness going on. That strike price certainly would have been tagged, and you can see it would have pushed higher. And then I see this flattening coming in on this momentum indicator. Here is the one-day momentum on this day saying, yep, things are still expecting to go higher. The next day, I get a drop in that momentum. That is not enough for me to say there's a bearish momentum going on here, and I need to be concerned. I get another day drop in momentum, and now I have to be concerned that time decay. I'm not really drawing straight lines, so I apologize for that. But you can see here, time decay is going to start impacting this because momentum is slowing down. As momentum slows down, what happens? The price starts to slow down. As price slows down, but yet I move closer to expiration, theta or time decay is taking that value very quickly. So I can use my predictive indicators saying that this is starting to lose some steam. When the market opens the next day, I can make my decision. If I hit my target, maybe I hit my target in here, by the way. I could have closed that out at my target. Maybe I get close to my target or hit my target and I set a stop loss. A lot of different ways to trade it based on your trade plan. But the artificial intelligence is saying, hey, things are starting to flatten at that point. Well, at that point, let's say we strike, the market opens. At some point during that day, we strike. We say, you know what, I'm going to close that out. That is only a 6-day trend, right? 5 contracts of that, $23,000 in hypothetical gains. You can see that's probably a 25-30% positive gain. If you take that $23,000, you take your premium off of that and say your premium was $10,000, that is a substantial move over 50%. At the end of the day, no matter how you slice it, the artificial intelligence was able to find some really good bullishness early. The artificial intelligence was able to indicate a weakening or a softening in that bullishness early, and those gains could have been locked in very, very well. Eric, the next candle painted at 5:30 CST every day. Yes, that's correct. 5:30 CST is 6:30 Eastern time. Bobby, still VantagePoint only predicts from the night before. Things change in the morning and with news. Of course they do. But think about that, Bobby. If the forecasts are still up to 87.4% accurate, that means that pre-market, post-market, pre-market trading, and post-market and pre-market news are only impacting how accurate that forecast is. 87.4% minus 87.4, 12% or more. So think about that. If VantagePoint, and let's be real, is wrong 12% of the time, if you use this information 100 days, if 80 out of those days it is right and 20 out of those 100 days is it wrong, do you have an edge? Safe to say it is. Trading is a zero-sum game. For you to make money, somebody else has to lose money, which means you need an advantage. You need an edge, a competitive edge that can put you in the proper place, more profitable place, more often. Is it going to be perfect? No, I'll never tell you it's perfect. Regardless, what I want to show you is how to optimize your options trading, and I think we've seen that, right? Barry, good question. How did you pick the expiration date? Barry, I just pick an expiration date that's 30 to 45 days away from the day that I am buying that option. I'm not planning to hold it for 30 to 45 days. This is a swing trading strategy, which means I'm going to probably hold it for anywhere from a couple of days to maybe a couple of weeks, a month or so. But if I'm setting my expiration out 30, 45 days or buying the next month or the month after that monthly, I know that I'm going to strike and close that position out here very quickly. So that's how I choose the expiration, right? Because all I need to do is set a date, that time, because remember, option is about two things, right? Timing and direction. So I'm going to use that date to impact my time decay. You're welcome. All right. Let's keep on rolling through this. Got some questions. A lot of family members in here. Eric is saying, what's the best scan for use with a neuro crossover? We'll get to the scan here in a second. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that as you're looking for a new opportunity with options and looking to buy some calls, when you find something, what do? I think everybody gets it right now. If you don't understand, once you find something, what do? Let me know that in the chat, because I want to walk through finding something. I want to do what I said I'm going to do and run a scan and go find some opportunities here. Let's see. Bobby says it's very wrong today on GME, but that's a tough one to predict. Was it wrong, Bobby? Was it wrong? It's a good question. VantagePoint had forecasted GME up 425. GameStop right now is at $50 or so. Here, let's put this at $50. It's already a 227% move. Let me go set this at $50 just so I make sure I know how wrong VantagePoint was. There you go, 350% move to $50. And VantagePoint said at 6:30 last night, the trend is expected to go higher. There is strength and there's bullish momentum over the next 3 days, saying up, up. It said there's going to be a predicted high and a predicted low that are both higher than it was yesterday. So I guess if it's wrong that way, I'm okay being wrong. And you know, technically, you're probably correct if you're talking about the predicted high and low, right? The accuracy I'm giving you is not about the predicted high and low. It's about the direction this thing's going to go. And safe to say that was right. Good. We're all on the same page. Caterpillar. Let's look. Two people have asked for Caterpillar. Here's Caterpillar. VantagePoint forecasted Caterpillar up on 5.7. All right. 5.7. By the way, these are some really nice forecasts from the software. VantagePoint said Caterpillar had some bullishness in it. 5.7. So how would I trade that from a call option standpoint? Let's walk through it one more time. That close price, call it 345, right? Predicted high and predicted low. I get a gray bar the next trade day. I can set a somewhere at the money, in the money, just out of the money strike. Let's say I buy a 345. Heck, I could buy a 340 strike. A lot of different ways to do it based on your trading style and how much capital you have to trade with, right? So you buy that strike price, and then as long as that blue line, you set your expiration out. Again, we'll pick the 6/21 expiration, 5 calls. There you go. I like to use 5 calls as a block, by the way, if you can't tell. But when you look at that, you can see that there is an opportunity here where this gets from the open of this very next day until the close of yesterday, this did nothing but go up, right? You can see that for 4.76%. The question is, as of last night, what was VantagePoint saying about Caterpillar? Because we know already there's some bullishness here. Let's dig in. I'm going to zoom in on it for you. VantagePoint had bullishness right here, right? Neural strength, neural index, bullishness. Momentum, 2-day and 3-day bullish. The 1 day is starting to flatten out. All right. What does that mean for Caterpillar when things starting to flatten out like that? And look at the predicted high and predicted low. VantagePoint is saying we can expect a higher high today, but we could get an outside bar, which means there's some consolidation from a price standpoint expected. This is saying the trend is expected to move higher. This is saying there is still short-term strength found in that trend, right? See that? And this is saying that there is still more bullishness than bearishness, just a little bit of weakening in momentum, which means I would probably expect it to be right about here. Knowing what I know about the software, VantagePoint predicted a high of 358.71. 358.71. I would expect it to settle right there on that high throughout the day and use that information to say, yeah, there's still some more bullishness left in this. Just understand, if we get more weakening in the momentum, that means time decay could start working itself in and start taking some of my value in those 5 call contracts. But VantagePoint indicating clearly, let me try that again. Some great opportunities here for bullishness. Now, if we go back and we think about what does consolidation mean for a trend that's been running, well, it means you could also sell some calls, buy some puts, write an iron condor, do a butterfly or a broken wing butterfly for you expert options traders. A lot of things, a lot of opportunities come to you from a trade strategy standpoint when you have accuracy forecasting with up to 87.4%. Let me look at I see some notes here. Would you sell puts for the same reason you buy calls? Same idea. Yep, absolutely, Ramon. I like the way you think about it. Do you have time, Naya, to trade with this strategy? Do I have to time the NYA and NASDAQ indexes? You don't have to time anything. This is about understanding that those have bullishness in them. I think that's really what I was getting at. Eric, problem is you can't trade options pre-market, so my advice, draw your highs and lows. And for ESAI, sometimes highs hits a pre-market, vice versa. Use the analytics. Well, I like that information. Eric says, Ramon, you sell to open puts when you have high IV. Yep, we'll get into that here in a second. Justin, GME was a hard one to call today. It was good job in my... Yeah, good job. I like that. I like that, Justin. Thank you. 350%. You can't beat that. Now, is that going to happen all the time? No. VantagePoint had a really bullish forecast on it. It was up 66% before all the hype. 66% on the underlying asset is a great move by itself, right? All right, let's scan. I'm just going to open up a bullish continuation scan. Here's why I want to do this. There's been some questions in the chat around scanning. Let's see, they're going to be removed from the scan. So this is just, the artificial intelligence is updating the things it can forecast for. Here we go. So I've got a scan run, and I can see that there's some opportunities in this scan that I'd want to take a look at. First of all, I'm going to sort this by close price really quickly. I'm going to put the smaller close prices at the top. First one on the list is Spirit Airlines. Giovec, I like your question. You said best time to open the trade when you get filled, right? Limit order is not best time, it's best price. And here's why I say that. If you're trying to open a trade at the open, you could really, really get hurt, right? In my opinion, best time to open a trade is if you're trading the underlying when you get that limit price you want, right? If you're talking about options using the strategy, you can put in that option the night before and then wait for the fill the next day, right? A lot of different ways to do it. I don't look at the time to open a trade. What I look at is the price that I'm looking to take advantage of that trend. Hopefully that helps. So here's what we've got in my scan. And whether you scan using VantagePoint or not, that's up to you. You could create a scan like this anywhere. You just don't get the benefit of the artificial intelligence. You don't get the benefit of the patterns, and you don't get the benefit of the predictions. But it doesn't mean you can't scan off of, those old lagging indicators that say, trend up, strength up, momentum up. That's basically what I'm doing, but I'm doing it with indicators that are predictive. Here's what I've got. I have 3 versions of my predicted moving average in this scan. I have my long-term crossover, which is a 3-day trend predictor, a medium-term crossover, which is a 2-day trend predictor, and a short-term crossover, which is a 1-day trend predictor. I also have the close price, and I have the category or the sector in this scan. You can build this if you've got the software, you can build this just like I did, right? I even have the neural index strength, which is that predictive indicator that tells me strength. By the way, these are the crossovers. Let me just highlight that. This is that crossover. Neural index strength, that is this green bar or red bar, right? Neural index strength trend, this tells me how many days it's been up. That is that green bar, right? Short-term difference, medium-term difference, and long-term difference. These are the momentum indicators down here. And you'll notice in my scan, what I'm saying is, show me only the ones where everything is up, 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 up. I also have predicted trading range. That's this one. The scan is saying, go find things that have a higher high and a higher low. And then I have dollar volume to make sure that there's at least 30 million shares traded from a dollar volume. Now, dollar volume is slightly different from volume. Let me tell you what that is. You can use it or you can use volume. It's up to you. If it's volume, I look for 1 million. If it's dollar volume, I've got it set at 30 million, but you can adjust that. Dollar volume takes volume and multiplies it by share price. And here's a great example why I like to use that is Chipotle doesn't have 1 million shares traded because of the share price. But if you combine shares traded with the share price, you get 20 million or more from a dollar volume standpoint if it has enough liquidity. And that's what I'm using it for. This is for liquidity. Can I buy and sell my options very easily? That doesn't really say liquidity, but you get the point. I'm writing with a mouse. Sorry, guys. So when you stop and you realize that there's a lot of bullishness going on, I've got 1,697 charts that are being filtered down to 13 based on the scan that I set up. And the first one that's coming up is Spirit Airlines. So this is saying I can expect some bullishness from Spirit Airlines and there's a good call opportunity. So we are going to mock this up so everybody can see exactly how I use this information. 30 days from now would be the June 21st expiration or more. That's a little bit over 30 days. So I'm already thinking about June 21st expiration. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to write expiration just to track it. And I'm going to go 621. All right. 5 calls. Oh, this is a lower share price. Let's go. Oops, 621 expiration, and we're going to go 20 calls because of the share price from a premium standpoint. Now, everybody should have your risk tolerance already set, your R. How much are you willing to lose every time you buy an option, right? If you're willing to use it, oh, let me see. Eric, can you please put that from left to right tabs in comment section? I can't read them. Not sure what you mean. Not sure what you mean. But my point is when you're looking at this, you can say, hey, that's my expiration. If I'm looking to buy 20 calls and I've got a risk tolerance, let's say your risk tolerance, every time you trade, you're willing to lose $5,000. I don't know if that's you or not. Heck, it might be $1,000. You might say, I got to stop doing that. I got to start just erasing it. You might say, every time I trade, I'm only willing to lose $1,000. All right, that means your premium can't be more than $1,000. Just understand that before going into it, okay? June, where's my eraser? Let me see. There you go. I use eraser instead of erase all. June 21st expiration. 20 calls based on what came out of the scan last night for this. And we can see that we've got a predicted high and predicted low. Let me zoom in on this chart and show you how I use that to set a strike price. If I'm looking at this and I've got a predicted high here and a predicted low here, and I can click on it and get the numbers here in the top right left corner. Predicted high of $4.54, a predicted low of $4.14. Leroy, this is, YouTube Lives are all recorded, by the way, for anybody that is new. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, that's where all these recordings live. Subscribe to VantagePoint AI right now. Hit the subscribe button on your page, and you can watch these recordings as well as, there's over 1,000 videos on our page you can learn from. So yes, absolutely, absolutely. On the same page, good. All right, so this is, by the way, Eric, this is my custom scan, so you can certainly have your search criteria. You can have everything set how you want it in your software, okay? Okay, good. So we're on the same page now. We've got it set up the way we want it set up. and we've got our P high, predicted high at 454, predicted low at 414. If I want to buy at the money, I can buy right there at the close. I can look for a strike price that's right there around 439, whatever the case is. I don't know that there's one there, right? I'm not looking at an options chain right now, but I do have in VantagePoint the ability to layer on the strike prices right on that predictive information. There you go. We've got a strike price right here at $4.50 on Spirit Airlines. It's a lower share price, so there's not a whole bunch of strike prices. So I can buy 20 450 calls, right, with an expiration of 6/21 for Spirit Airlines. What that means is I can then go to my platform and say, all right, for 20 450 calls with an expiration of 6/21 at 450, what's the premium look like? Does that match my risk tolerance? And if it does, the great news is then you can set a position for Spirit Airlines. Now, I don't know if Spirit Airlines is up today or not, but you can check your platform if you want to. Let me see if I can go check mine, see what we've got going on. All right, Spirit Airlines today opened at 450. Imagine that. Our strike price was 450. So likely getting filled, yes, if that was the open. It even went straight up, and right now it is at 486. Well, it's up 10% today. There you go, VantagePoint. What a move. That might have taken out its target already today, right? Already today. Let me look. I'm just going to look up the options chain really quickly for SAV, which is Spirit Airlines, and go take a look and see what that 450 strike, where it's at. 450 strike, it's up 170%. Well, there you go. We just walked through the process for finding something in a scan, looking at the chart to make sure I've got the information, setting a strike price based off of that predicted high and predicted low. And yes, GeoVac, it's going to find opportunities almost every day depending on your filters. I have mine filtered to find something specific. I can keep on going through it and finding opportunities. Forget the meme stocks and all the hype. Here's Groupon. Here's another one. Here you go. Same idea, right? The scan said bullishness on Groupon. We see the blue lines above, the neural green. Everything's pointed up. I've got my predicted high and predicted low. I got a predicted high of 1587, a predicted low of 1385. Set our expiration, 6/21, right? We're going to set our 5 calls. Let's just go back to my normal lots of 5 calls. And I don't know why I keep doing that. I got a weird button on my mouse that keeps flashing these different screens. But still, 5 calls. And then with those 5 calls, I'm looking for a strike price. I want to find a strike price near that close but touching that gray bar. I can go pop on my strike price indicator and I can see I've got 3 of them. If I want to save a little bit of money, I've got the strike price right here around that 1550 mark. If I'm okay buying at the money, there is a strike price available at 15 bucks and then a little bit deeper in the money at 14.50. So I've got the ability to decide based on my risk tolerances and how much I'm willing to put out for a trend. I've got the opportunity here to pick one of those strike prices depending on my risk tolerances. Again, you should know how much, what is 2% of your account, what is 3% of your account, whatever you use to make your decision on how much premium you're willing to invest. You can pick from 3 different strike prices there. And all you've got to do is go check the options chain in your platform for Groupon because you've got everything else figured out based on the artificial intelligence. So let's look. Right now, if I look at that, let's just go look at the money at 15 bucks, right? If I go look at calls at 15 bucks, yeah, 5 call contracts certainly would have met the criteria. Oh, wow. Looks like Groupon's up big today as well. There you go. Groupon opened at 1551. So it opened at 1551. It's currently at 1643. It's up 8.74%. Another big mover identified in the scan. So all I'm doing, I just want to show everybody how very easily artificial intelligence can bring you opportunities that really have, and right now I've got 13 on this list, right? I don't have a ton to look through. I can decide which ones are stronger. Heck, Here's another one, Chesapeake Energy. I can put on Chesapeake Energy. I can do my analysis right here on the right-hand side of the chart. Now, there's some stuff here going on with Chesapeake, so right away I start to hesitate, but I got some really good bullishness from the trend. Really good bullishness from the Neural Index. New bullishness happening from momentum. That's good. A predicted higher and predicted low. They're setting higher. I'm gonna go a little further here, folks. For those of you that have the VantagePoint software, you know that you can layer on support and resistance and make sure that you don't have a resistance level that is right there at the close. And I don't. Feel pretty good about that. I can layer on momentum indicators to increase my confidence in what this trend is expected to do. MACD, RSI, stochastic, percent R. Look at that. I like to, these are all predictive, by the way. For those of you that don't have the software, these are predictive indicators that VantagePoint has. And I've got most of them indicating bullishness, but some consolidation happening in Chesapeake. So all in all, I have enough momentum to push to that resistance. Not through it, but to it. So I can go find a strike price. Let's go put on our strike price indicator really quickly. And go find a strike price that is below that resistance level, but close or touching that gray bar. Now this one may not meet your premium requirements at 87.50, but that is the strike price that I would be considering because the next strike price is up here at 90, which is at the same level of resistance. Not interested in that. So 621 expiration is what comes to my attention. 621 expiration, the strike price we were just talking about at 87.50, right? 87.50 is that strike price. And this is probably more like a 3 to 5 call options. And we can go look at Chesapeake Energy and see if I had that information. If you were a VantagePoint user using this last night and you came to the conclusion that I just came through that there's enough here to push this close to 90 or even 290, as long as I buy the right strike, I might hit my target on this today, whether it's 25, 30, 50%, 100%. VantagePoint indicated that opportunity, and you can see very quickly and very easily if it was right. And in this case, Chesapeake is right now at 89.74. It opened the day at 88.28. So today it went from 88.28 to 89. Right, 89.74 is right below that resistance level, which is why having these extra indicators is so valuable to me. I like to layer things like that. I like to make sure that my conclusion using these artificial intelligence, my conclusion is a strong one. And in this case, I think everybody could have seen that that's the case. Let me just take a look at the notes. Yes, if there's, I see some of you are interested in using this information, you can always go to VantagePointForecast.com if you've got individual questions, or you can give us a call. We put the phone number in the chat, so we're happy to talk about that. Happy to answer your questions one-on-one if you've got questions. Let me see if there's something I'm missing. Nope. Does the system come with your criteria as a default? Yes, there are defaults already built into it. My criteria is my criteria that I built through my experience, but we do have training. For the Geovac, you don't have the software, just so you know, everybody that joins the VantagePoint family gets 6 months of free training and support included with the software. So you get an expert like me helping you understand how to do the things that I'm doing. So we don't leave you to your own devices, right? When did you buy at market close? Barry, you keep asking the question about when to buy. It's not about when to buy, right? It's about what price. So I'm looking to set my orders while the market is closed, but using limit orders and setting positions waiting to get a fill. I let the market fill me at a price, not a time, okay? A price, not a time. All right, good. Good, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover today. I know some people were asking for some forecasts and some information. Let's do that. I saw somebody popped in Apple before. Let me see if there's anything else back in the chats. Got to scroll up through the chats, but I know Apple was one of them, so I'll start there. NVIDIA, we'll take a look at NVIDIA. Here's Apple's forecast. VantagePoint forecasted Apple up on 426. Now, this chart runs for 3 months. This forecast was bullish on 426, the same time that VantagePoint forecasted the indices up. We got a lot of bullishness in Apple. Huge gap up here. Pullback, did not fill that gap, and prices kept running. And VantagePoint today said Apple is expected to be higher. right? Well, how do I know that? The blue line is above, the shaded area is green. The neural index is green. The momentum indicators stopped tailing off and are now turning back up again. More bullishness working itself in. Vantage points indicating a potential high in Apple today. We had this at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time last night. The predicted high is 187.55. Apple right now, where is it? 186.81. So the high in Apple is 188, so 188.30. So yeah, it's certainly higher. And Vantage Point is indicating more bullishness in Apple yet. And momentum is starting to shift. Let's take a look at some of the other indicators on Apple while you guys are putting some tickers into the chat. I see Krista wants HL. Let's put on support and resistance. Take a look at that really quickly and see what the potential for Apple to move higher is. Okay, this is important, folks. 186.91 is where Vantage Point is from a resistance standpoint on Apple. Well, we don't necessarily have enough momentum yet to push and break past that. Let's put on our other momentum indicators. RSI. RSI has some bullish momentum to it, but it hasn't reached this level of momentum yet. So not enough to break through that resistance and stay above it. Stochastic, definitely enough bullishness on stochastic. That looks good. Percent R has more bullishness than RSI. So we're getting bullishness building itself in. Let's check ATR. There's a predicted ATR, predicted stochastic. ATR is dropping. That's a good sign for bullishness. Let's see if we're getting increase in bullish volume to go along with that ATR. All right. Here we go. We are getting an increase in bullish volume. So what I would expect from here based on the Vantage Point indicators is prices to stall at this resistance level as more momentum builds itself in. It's going to break above it. When it breaks above it, I need 2 candle closes to confirm we have a resistance breakout and prices can move higher. Unless we have those, we have to be very cautious. But yes, bullishness on the horizon based on what the Vantage Point software is saying, what the AI is saying, right? Let's see. HL. Crystal looking at HL, Hecla Mining. We got some bullishness here. We got a strong pullback, I imagine, from probably support and resistance. We got some old support points here that are impacting price right now. Is this a 52-week high? Nope, we got plenty of room to the 52-week high, all the way up at 623. Momentum is tailing off here, Crystal. We got a predicted momentum in the Vantage Point software is saying that there's a little bit of a pullback going on here. I can even put on fractal RSI, which is a predictive indicator using fractal energy. Yeah, so we do have momentum peeling off a little bit. Let's check volume really quickly. And yes, folks, for those of you that are new to this, these indicators that I'm adding are add-on indicators. Not everybody uses them. Not everybody has them. If you're a Vantage Point family member and you're seeing something I don't have, you don't have, that's okay. It's not required. These are optional indicators. Don't worry about that. But look, Crystal, we're getting a little bit of a sell-off here from a volume standpoint. I'm interested in whether or not ATR is dropping or not. Let me look. ATR, oh, we got a spike in ATR. Oh boy, okay. So the candle ranges are increases with increases bearishness. So from a Vantage Point standpoint, we're getting a lot of bearishness working itself in. As a matter of fact, we've got consolidation on the short-term forecast, the predicted high and predicted low are lower. Guys, I'm going through this quickly just so that, we can take a look and we can see right now, HL is being threatened a little bit from overall, lack of momentum from a predictive standpoint and lack of volume. The Vantage Point predictive indicators are saying there could be some more bullishness in the trend, but everything else is saying bearishness is working itself in. So my AI sentiment, and by the way, that's what we call it when we layer on these indicators like this to walk away with a conclusion, the AI sentiment for ECLA is more bearish than bullish. Hopefully that's helpful. All right. This has been awesome. I love the interaction, the comments, the questions, everything that you guys have to say. Eric and Len and Leroy, everybody, Geovec, everybody getting involved. Barry, I'm just Crystal, people jumping in, Ramon, Justin, so many people, Kevin. I love the fact that we can have such an interaction like this from all over the world, and just dig into the VantagePoint software or just the markets in general, whether you have the software or not. I've enjoyed our time today. Thank you if you're part of the VantagePoint family. And as I like to say, thank you for letting me give you the view from my vantage point. I'm signing off. Everybody have a fantastic day. And don't forget, if you've got questions, reach out to us. Our phone number is right there in the chat. And you can go to VantagePointForecast.com if you're not part of the VantagePoint family and you've got questions about that. We're glad to help.